Andy Murray faced Japanese qualifier Taro Daniel in his opening match at the Indian Wells Masters on Friday. Andy Murray showed guts and guile to reach a major career milestone as he recovered from a disastrous first set to see off the challenge of Taro Daniel in his first-round match at the Indian Wells Masters. The Britain's 1-6, 6-2, 6-4 victory was the 700th of his career, joining the big three of Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic in having reached that figure. His opponent was a tricky one, as the qualifier Daniel had conquered him at the Australian Open in January. The Japanese star hoped to pull off another victory against the three-time Grand Slam champion, and would have felt great about his chances after taking the first set with some brilliant play to win it 6-1. But Murray used all his experience and played to his own strengths to rally and level the match as Daniel struggled to maintain the high bar he had set in the opening stages. Eventually, the Scot secured safe passage into the second round of the California tournament by recovering from a breakdown in the final set and securing the 700th victory of his long and storied career. Murray missed an opportunity to break early in the first set after a bizarre error from his opponent, who seemed to lose a high ball in the sun and completely missed his shot when presented with a chance to smash a point winner. However, Daniel saved 2 break points and showed his power to prevent the Scot from taking an early advantage. Instead, it was the Japanese qualifier who drew first blood, winning all 4 points in the fourth game to take an early 3-1 lead. And from there the result of that first set was never in doubt, as Daniel used his power to dominate much of the play and take control of the match with a 6-1 victory. The break between sets came at an ideal time for Murray, who had looked very much second best in those opening exchanges but came out firing in the second set. He used his superb returning game to full effect to come out on top of some lengthy rallies to break Daniel's first 2 service games and take a 3-0 lead. The Japanese had been virtually flawless in that first set, but the mistakes began to creep in as Murray turned up the pressure. The crowd were also comfortably behind the Briton, who remains ever popular wherever he goes. Here, he enjoyed favor from the spectators over Daniel, who was born in New York City. There was a moment of vintage Murray at 5-0 up, when the Scot stayed calm despite Daniel impressively returning 2 shots which had looked like winners to take the point. Murray treated the crowd to a huge roar and fist pump, and those spectators responded by turning up the volume themselves in response to some great tennis from the 3-time Grand Slam champion. There was a wobble as Daniel held his serve on that occasion to avoid being on the wrong end of a bagel set, and broke back to put a bit of pressure back onto the Briton. But the result of that one was a formality as Murray levelled the match with a 6-2 win and headed into the deciding set with all the momentum. Once again, though, the tide shifted as Daniel won the first 2 games by making the most of his first serve and piling the pressure back on his much more experienced opponent. Things could have got much worse for Murray after inexplicably missing a simple net shot on his own serve, but he rallied to hold the 5th game and keep himself in the tie at only 3-2 down. And then he got the break that he needed, taking advantage of some wayward serving from Daniel to level the scores, before holding his own to spark another huge cheer from the American crowd as he moved into the lead. Murray was given the opportunity to break and serve for the match, but missed 2 simple shots on his favoured backhand and was visibly frustrated with himself for not taking the deciding set by the scruff of the neck. He looked like he might be broken in the 9th game, but Daniel failed to convert a breakpoint and Murray once again showed guts and no small amount of class to pull off a monumental hold of serve. From there Daniel's spirit was broken and, despite missing out on the first 2, Murray wasn't going to pass up on the 3rd match point he was presented with to secure safe passage into the second round.